Today on Beardo and Weirdo, we're being joined by one of the greats in comedy, Tom Rhodes, who's going to share some stories about opening for James Brown and for Ray Charles.
And we find out that Tom Rhodes and I share an affinity for the darker shades of the crayon box.
They sure do.
Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Anaheim, California. It is I, Chris Cale from the rock and roll band Five Finger Death Punch, with my friend, the King of Credits,
comedian Craig Gass from Family Guy, King of Queens, Sex and the City, etc., etc. We are coming to Green Bay, Wisconsin, to the Epic Event Center on January 10th, and then we'll be at the Grove in Anaheim on January 24th. We're doing live stand-up comedy, followed by a live podcast taping of Beardo and Weirdo. You can join us live. Ticketmaster.com or go to getgas.com. It's Get Gas with 2 S's.
Hey, man, you forgot that one episode of Las Vegas that you're on.
One episode of Las Vegas with Alec Baldwin. We robbed the casino. I got $8 for it.
Been eating more than that, Miranda.
Yeah, what's up? There's rarely do you have a comedian that all comics universally talk positively about behind their back and say that they are not only funny, but also an original. And Tom is one of those guys. And holy shit, is he the guy that when we start talking about getting together and getting like, interesting people together to have conversations with, Tom is definitely right at top of mind. Like, we got to get him in. It's just to get started on a conversation, because Tom not only is this incredibly funny comedian, but he started to develop into this beautiful person on stage who also gives a lot of love from the stage to people. Mm-hmm. And he interacts with people in the crowd in a very loving way. That's a conscious decision you've made, right? In the last 10, 15 years?
Yeah, especially with hecklers. If you if you just are like really super kind with them, they'll hang themselves.
Nice.
Wow.
So someone has to go to like a lot of extra steps to be a cock or be mean for me to hit them with like some comeback lines.
I never thought of it in those terms. Big Jay Okerson has a very conscious thing that he does, which is he goes the route of like, oh, why are you bothering me, mister? Which makes the whole crowd go, yeah, why are you bothering him, mister? Yes. You know, he takes the sad guy approach.
Yep.
But music, I know that Tom loves music, but we've never had a discussion about
music is my secret weapon, man. It's funny now with technology, but I used to travel with a boombox.
Did you really?
Hell
yeah, man. And like, like getting on planes, that would be my overhead luggage.
Nice.
Was because I needed to have music in the hotel rooms to get pumped up for shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I have my, the Case Logic thing. Sure. They held 100 CDs.
Yeah.
How many of those did you have stolen out of your car over the years? I had at least 2 with 64 in each of them. It's like, broke ass kid.
What was that first moment of discovering music? Who really got you and hooked you in? Like, wow, this is special.
The Rolling Stones. The first piece of music I ever bought was the single of Miss You. I remember I had an allowance of $1, $2. And I remember the single was $1.50. And, my family had a record player. And I just thought that was the greatest song ever.
Oh, yeah.
I was whatever.
Mine was a completely different song. My mom and dad had the single for Brown Sugar, which I loved. Yeah. Me as a little 4-year-old listening to Brown Sugar. That was my favorite song.
Are you into black women?
I am. Yep. He'll tell you. Yeah. I have anything other than white for me.
Yeah. We always have the discussion. If I had a Crayola,
we have a lot in common.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, nice.
Do you want to get into that? Because Chris said when Tom gets in here, I got to talk to him because we have, the way you described it was we both have similar friends.
Yes. A very unique situation that I have run into. Your best friend, my best friend, ex-wife's. Yeah.
Oh,
my best friend is also my ex-wife.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. And that's something that I never hear about. He's always astonished that me and my ex-wife are best friends.
Oh, my God. Ashna, my ex-wife, man, I trust her more than anyone on the planet, and even among family. And she's like my family. I mean, she is my family.
Yep.
And, we got divorced. I was on the road all the time. She just didn't want to be on the road anymore. And then the last couple of years we were together, I was just gone all the time. And we just chose to evenly divide the money we had in the bank, and we've stayed tight. And
Nice.
Even right now, there's a little minor crisis I'm dealing with, and she's my number one problem solver.
Yeah, I got the exact same thing. It's like we were married for 17 years, got divorced right as I was getting sober, and then didn't talk to her for about 2 years. And then at step 9, I did the making amends with her. That was the one big one that I needed to do. And been best friends ever since then. And we vacation together and go all over the place.
I don't know why people need to think that you need to end relationships and anger and hatred and never talk to the person again. Like my father was killed by a drunk driver in 2009. And then my little sister died of breast cancer a year and a half later in 2011. And man, my soul took a whack, and I didn't see any joy in life. And my ex-wife, at the time she was my wife, we got married at my sister's hospital bedside hours before she died of cancer.
Oh my God.
So she did so many things to, help me stay positive, to summon the joy to perform comedy and shit like that. And nursed me through like the most devastating losses I've ever had. I would never turn my back on that woman.
Yeah.
I do not know that backstory.
Yeah.
I just know that one day somebody said to me, do you listen to Tom Rhodes' podcast? Have you heard his latest episode with his wife? They talk about separating on the podcast. I listened to it. That is one of the most honest and toughest conversations I've ever heard in my life. Is the two of you talking about it's time to end this?
Yeah, and it's she produces my podcast, and she actually she took that episode down a couple years ago. She thought it was too raw and revealing, but a lot of people told me that they got a lot out of that. And one comedian friend told me it made me realize I didn't have to be a dick to my ex-wife.
Oh yeah. And
that he goes, I'm getting along with my kids better and my ex-wife. He goes, I never realized that was an option.
yeah, it's one of those things like with us, we realized that it wasn't working romantically anymore, but that strong friendship and that familial type thing, like she is family. If once my dad passes away, it's like my sister and her, and then extended family. It's all the same. So I didn't want to throw away 17 years of a great friendship, but just other stuff got in the way, and it's turned out really well for us. So when I was listening to your podcast today, I noticed that you said your best friend. I was like, wait a minute, I've never heard anybody else.
She's my best friend.
That's awesome.
I wish I could get more wealthy and famous, because I would have her be the president of Tom Rhodes Enterprises.
Yeah.
And Tom follows his heart, and I really admire that about him. I don't know if you know, Tom had his own show on NBC years ago. And when the show ended, rather than try to get to another show, another network, or whatever the next move is, I remember asking Tom about it. We were in the ocean with 98 Rock. 98 Rock from Baltimore was doing that event with me, you, and Mickey, and Joel McHale was a part of it one year. And I remember asking you, why did you leave? Why did you leave America? He just left the country. Went to
Well, first I went to New York City.
Okay.
Because I looked at that money as my NBC artist grant.
Okay.
And I lived in New York City for a year when I was 20 years old, like a dog. I wasn't good enough as a comedian yet.
Yeah.
And it sucked. I was starving. And I always swore if I ever had any money, I would live in New York City with style. So I went back to New York, got a Rockstar apartment.
Nice.
I should have bought some property, but then my ass would have been chained to that property, and I never would have traveled the world. So I moved to New York City. And I was playing the Cellar all the time. Mitch Hedberg was like my best friend. He's living at the Chelsea.
You were the first, when I moved in with Mitch, he let me stay with him at that place. You were the first guy we ran into that first night we were in town, was seeing you at whatever that bar was around the corner from the Cellar. But
yeah, man, it was good. So, and then I also started taking trips to London.
Nice.
In that time. And then I got him in London, and that led to gigs in Europe and, all over the world. And then I ended up moving to Amsterdam for, a woman that I fell in love with. And there was all these gigs in Europe. And I thought, everything I've done has been to expand my experiences so I could develop as a human, as a comedian.
Which is so the opposite of what most comedians do. I mean, when he told me I left for love, I went to Amsterdam. I fell in love with a girl. I just thought, my God, what an unbelievably beautiful thing to do.
Absolutely.
You know,
following the heart and getting out there and living, developing stories that help with the podcasting, that help with the comedy career, all that stuff. Just stories. You can't keep on doing the Cellar over and over and over again in New York. Just being on stage.
Well, you
like,
know, the story that I always
room.
tell, I think you'll appreciate this. Because I was pretty hell-bent when I was living in New York, and I had a lot of money. And that was the period when I got the most into cocaine. And I was running like a wild man with Hedberg everywhere. And then I met this woman in Amsterdam and fell in love and moved there. But I was partying so hard when I lived in New York City, I actually moved to Amsterdam to bring it down a notch.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's true. It's really true.
Yeah. And did I see that you also got a TV show while you were in Amsterdam?
Yeah. So it didn't work out with the woman I was dating. She was from a small village in the north of Holland, and she wanted to settle down and have kids. And I was like, you know, especially in London, man, I'd go to London and just get wrecked. It was so fun over there. And everyone drinks like they hate themselves there. and you know, so the woman broke up with me, and I was just about to move back to the United States when these people from this Dutch television network were looking for an American to host an American-style late-night talk show.
Nice.
So I got the job, and then I got to stay in this country that I had fallen in love with and be on television for 3 years.
It's one of the most legendary episodes of Insomniac with Dave Attell is when he goes to Amsterdam and does an episode in Amsterdam, and he grabs Tom to do the episode with him, and everywhere they go, every 10 feet, Tom is getting stopped by everybody.
Nice.
It was a pretty brilliant premise that Attell did for that Amsterdam and Insomniac episode, because he had gone to Amsterdam to experience the 7 deadly sins, and I was envy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he comes to the tape. He comes to the filming of my late night talk show, and he's sitting in the audience, and like, you know, there's, you know, and it's glamour.
Yeah.
And that's why the Dutch had this television network had chosen to do this. They felt it like kind of a glamorous American show like that hadn't been done. So there's beautiful actresses, and then there's, you know, musical act. I got a musical sidekick, and then I took Attell around. They filmed it over 2 nights, where I took him to all these different dance clubs and nightclubs in Amsterdam. And granted, you know, I was on television, and there was a lot of women talking to me, but the way they edited it, I looked like I was Elvis Presley.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely were.
There were women talking to me, but the way they edited it, and then so like the camera would pan over to Dave Attell, and he's just by himself.
Yeah.
It was a pretty genius episode.
For someone like Attell, who is such a genius, isn't it mind-blowing how selfless he is and how kind and warm he is to people?
Yeah, and one of the most loyal friends of all time, you know, and he's really helped out a lot of comedians in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he really is.
Because then he had that stand-up show after that. What was that? Live from the Underground, something like that?
Oh, that's right. I remember the porn show. He did the Dave's Old Porn for a little bit. I think you'll get a kick out of this. It was probably
he went to find like old porn stars that he really loved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my buddy Yoshi.
He's a guy that really cares.
He really did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my buddy Yoshi, he would actually use because Yoshi's been working in the porn industry for over 20 years, and he had
the Japanese comedian.
Comedian Yoshi.
He's working in the porn industry.
He was working in porn for like when we first started in the 90s. He was working at a porn shop near Pike Place Market, and then he used all the connections he made to go to LA, and he started editing porn for Buttman, and he was Buttman's one of his main editors. And I would bring Yoshi to concerts all the time and introduce him to people with a solid like, if you're ever in Los Angeles and you have a free night, go to the Comedy Store and go see this guy. He's one of the best comedians. Yeah. And then Yoshi would respond with, do you guys like porn? And they go, what? And he goes, do you like watching porn? Because I edit porn. And he'd always have a stack of DVDs. And he goes, hey, put this on your bus. So it would go from like, hey man, this guy's a solid comic, check him out, to
porn dealer.
hey, go to your bus and just go jack off for a while. All right, cool. Like, it was kind of like, all right.
Matt from Maroon 5 would have loved him.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Dave. I think you'd appreciate. It was probably a year ago, 2 years ago. I ran into Dave a block or two from the Comedy Cellar, and we're standing there talking. And then some guy walked over and did a double take on Dave and went, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I said, "You want me to take it? Here, give me the camera. I'll take it." I go to take the picture, and the guy goes, "Man, I love that TV show you were on Comedy Central." And he goes, "I don't know what that was." And he goes, "The one where you're up all night." And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know." And he goes, "You stayed up all night?" And he goes, "Doesn't ring a bell." And he just refused to tell him what the name of the show was. I love the frustration that he had in that. But I feel like you are one of the few comics I've seen who really is a rock star comic on stage.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like, and I've never had this conversation with you, that you must have made friends with musicians over the years.
Not only that, were you a musician before? Because I saw the long hair and just the way that you walk around on stage too. Like, I don't see too many comics doing that back and forth, taking control of the entire stage.
Like a pen.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was like, this dude's had to be a musician because you got that control of the stage
but I mean,
alone.
I was nurtured at the tit of rock and roll. I mean,
that's the place to do it.
Rolling Stone magazine, Spin magazine. When I was a teenager, man, and just always into style and clothes and music. And yeah, man, especially like when I was younger and I had the long hair, I thought I was Jim Morrison. Mm-hmm. And I've never played any music. Mm-hmm. I tried to play guitar years ago, but my left hand is not ambidextrous enough to do it. But I've been friends with a few musicians through the years. I mean, I've partied with Lars Ulrich.
Really?
But who hasn't?
Yeah.
And, but I made friends with it. It's kind of a beautiful story. Do you know Terrence Trent D'Arby?
Yeah, of course.
Great.
Wishing Well.
Yeah, Wishing Well.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
1987, that was like the hugest album of the year. And in that year, like, Michael Jackson, Terrence Trent D'Arby, Prince, all of them, my money would have been on him at that time. For that album, man, I went on the road like 1986 when I was 19.
Wow.
So, I mean, I remember driving around America and I had, I would use that album, 87. I listened to the shit out of that. And Wishing Well was the song that would pump me up. So, when was this? About, I don't even remember how long ago it was. I was in a drugstore and I heard Sign Your Name. Maybe this is like 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, God damn, I love that song. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened to that guy? So I Googled him and he changed his name to Sananda Maitreya.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And he lives in Milan, Italy.
I thought you were going to say LeJean Witherspoon.
Yeah.
From Seven Dust.
Sananda Maitreya. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he married a former Italian supermodel, TV presenter, and they have two sons, Elvis and Mingus.
Wow.
So, yeah, man. I'm going to say, okay, maybe this is like 15, 16, 17 years ago. So, at that time, I wasn't living anywhere. I put everything into storage, and I had so many cool gigs all over the world. Ashna, my best friend, ex-wife, she traveled with me for 8 of those 10 years. So every year I would do like 3 or 4 months in Europe, a month in Asia, a month in Australia, and then, all over the States and Canada. So whenever I would finish a European run, there was like 3 years in a row where we went to Rome and rented an apartment and just, first year was just tourist stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the next 2 times we went there, we pretended like we lived there. Mm. And I was still drinking at the time, so just plates of prosciutto and drinking wine.
Yeah.
And then I find out that this musician that I love, lives in Milan, Italy. So I contacted him and I wanted to interview him for my podcast.
Nice.
So we flew to Milan and met him and his wife and his sons, and he has a recording studio. He's recording all the time, puts out his own stuff. The guy's still a genius, still puts out great music. And I had him on my podcast. And then I did another podcast where we talked over Skype, which is now defunct.
Right.
Yeah.
But we've stayed in contact, and become really good friends with the guy. And we communicate all the time. I love him like a brother. I'm actually closer with him than I am with my own two brothers. So he's a really cool guy. He just did a tour in England, and he's toured Europe, but he hasn't done England in a while.
I think at one moment he was the singer of In Excess for a moment.
He was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Excess had
He did a
such a cool
biopic where he was Jackie Wilson.
That's right.
He did incredible career that the guy's had, and still now, to this day, he has the voice of an angel. His voice has always been incredible.
Yeah. Very smooth.
As Tom is talking, I'm realizing, holy shit, that's right. I forgot about, and I brought this up with Whitfield. Whitfield, the singer of Ugly Kid Joe, whenever people say to me, oh man, you travel a lot, there's two people I always think of, and that's Whitfield and Tom. And Tom has the coolest answer when people say, where are you living? And then you usually say,
in these shoes.
In these shoes.
Yeah.
That is the coolest. Because Tom is constantly
always on the move.
I saw that you also went to Vietnam as well.
I've been to Vietnam a lot.
Nice. I spent some time over there as like a Hard Rock. I worked for the Hard Rock Cafe back then.
Did you work at the original one they had in Saigon?
Yeah. That I opened up that one.
Is that from that location?
No.
And Tom,
So I did a comedy special for Comedy Central. We filmed it in September 94 when Americans were first allowed to travel, because it was like Cuba is now. Like, Americans can't go there. And then Bill Clinton lifted the travel ban. So I filmed an hour special. My father flew helicopters in Vietnam.
I was going to say.
And he was shot down. Everyone in the helicopter died except for him and his co-pilot, who he dragged across a field. He got like 5 medals for it. When he was killed by the drunk driver in 2009, he was buried in Arlington National Cemetery.
Okay.
Arlington is full. You got to be a real badass, true war hero to get buried in Arlington now, which my father was.
Mm-hmm.
So that special, Viva Vietnam, came on Comedy Central April 95 for the 20th anniversary of the war. So when I was there in 94, and I've been there, I was just there in March.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there, I think, total of 5 times. I mean, they don't sell these anymore, but these were Zippo lighters that the soldiers carried.
Man.
And they put it would say the year that this guy was there, 71 to 72.
Yeah.
And I love this on the back. It says, ours is not to do or die. Ours is to smoke and stay high.
Wow.
So I don't think this was a really... I don't think this was a real dedicated soldier. I don't think
he was dedicated.
I don't think he was leading the charge.
I remember that special. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Have you been out to the Ho Chi Minh Trail as well?
Yeah, when there's that place where the Ho Chi Minh Trail is, the tourist spot where the tourists can go.
Oh yeah,
and there's a shooting range there.
Oh nice, I didn't do the shooting range,
and you can shoot an M16 or an AK-47.
So when I went,
it's $1 a bullet.
Like, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'1", 220. I think I was about 230 back then, and I go to Ho Chi Minh Trail, and they've got these little entrances where you can like go inside and like walk through the trails there, and you see, right? Yeah, you see like the soldiers, the Vietnamese soldiers in the old videos just running through there, and I'm like, my God, I literally had to like put my hands up and like wiggle down in and go in, and then I got out and I was like, man, those entrances are tall, or they're not very tall at all. It's like small, and they're like, oh, they're actually used to be smaller than that. That's for fat American. They widened them. That's for fat American tourists. They said, yeah.
But I had a moment there when we were filming, because we went down into the tunnels, and they had originally built those tunnels to hide their weapons from the French.
Okay.
When they were fighting France to get them out, and then they expanded them, and then that was like their big strategical move. The Americans were like, how can you fight someone you can't see? Because you're getting shot at over here, and then now they're over here,
Mm-hmm.
So we went down there, and you could feel the presence of death.
Ooh,
Wow.
absolutely.
So I had this really emotional moment thing because one of my dad's best friends back in Florida when I was growing up was a guy who was a tunnel rat. And it was his job to go, those tunnel rats had to go down in them. So, and these people had some real PTSD. So I don't know, I just thinking about, and I just grew up with, Vietnam was like, I saw all the movies, I read a ton of books, and my dad and his Vietnam veteran buddies was, a big prevalent part of my life. Mm-hmm. So just thinking about all the death that happened there, I had this emotional moment, and I said, look, I don't want to film anymore, and I'm sorry. And I said, I just need to get out of here. And then back at the hotel that night, I had this big argument with the director, Jerry Kramer. He's dead now. I said, we can't use that. And he was like, no, man, that was gold. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, man, I do not want to use that. And we had this huge argument. He kept it in the special. And it was the moment that touched most people when they saw it. And I was adamant. You cannot use that. We had this big fight. And then that was the thing. People were like, when you got upset in the Ho Chi Minh tunnels, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your hesitation in getting in that?
I just wanted to be respectful to the soldiers, I mean, I wanted to show Vietnam was a country, not just a war, right. But still, I don't know. I just didn't think that humor and all these dead soldiers went together at that moment. Yeah. I thought there was other shit to make fun of and make jokes about, but just that one moment, I didn't think it was appropriate. But I was dead wrong because that was the part that everybody, really loved, apparently.
Tom is a rare person who could pull this off, and he did it a few years ago. He put out an album. I think it was a 2-album set where every track was from a different country.
Yeah, it's called Around the World. I think it's one of the best things I've ever done.
Nice.
It is one of the best things any comedian's ever done because the guy actually, again, he's constantly searching. He just has such a lust for travel and for life and learning about other cultures.
So I recorded it in 24 cities around the world.
Wow.
It starts in Paris and ends in Jerusalem. So most of the cities like Paris and London, Berlin, Amsterdam, I had played a lot. Sydney, Australia is on there. So I had developed little, hunks of material. So it was all jokes or stories about those places.
Nice. Yeah.
So I developed a lot. But then it was like new places I went, like Jerusalem. I forget what I did there, but it was supposed to be 25 tracks. It took me 2 years to record it. And the last track was Tokyo. And there's this great little bar in Tokyo that did stand up. Now I think it's the Tokyo Comedy Club that's there, that's popped up since then. But this place, Good Heavens, was the first place in Tokyo doing English language comedy. Yeah. I had done like an English one night thing in a pizza place a few years before that. So, I mean, who knows technically what the first English language show was, but this was a hot room, sat like 100 people, and I had written all this material about Japan, and I'm really into this book called Hagakure. It's the Way of the Samurai. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Ghost Dog.
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's Forrest Whitaker, great film, and he plays this.
Heard about it.
He's this hitman for the mafia, but he's this quiet dude who lives in the ghetto. He doesn't have any relationships, and the mafia can only communicate with him through carrier pigeon. So he fashions his life like a samurai. So he's living by the code of this book. Anyway, so I'm like, it's like the book is phenomenal. So anyway,
you're in Tokyo.
So I used a Zoom recorder. And there was a little ledge shelf on the stage where I put the Zoom recorder behind me.
Zoom audio recorder?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And so I the killer set for like an hour. And when I turned around to grab it, I knocked it off it fell off the shelf, and the Zoom broke, and the recording was
lost,
not captured. And that's why that album is 24 cities and not 25 cities. Yeah.
Oh my God. I asked this question of Whit. And
But I'm really proud of that. Thank you for bringing that up.
it was an amazing, and I remember as soon as I heard about it, I went, that's the only guy I know that could do it and do it sincerely, because he's so into being everywhere in the world and learning everything about everybody. And has there ever been a country that you felt a disconnect? Because sometimes if I'm in a new town where I don't know anybody, I feel like a ghost sometimes. Do you ever feel like that, or do you instantly?
I mean, I didn't like Dubai.
No. What was it about Dubai that didn't?
It seemed kind of soulless. It seemed like Las Vegas without all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, that was that was like probably 25 years ago that I was there.
I've heard the toilets are amazing though.
Yeah.
Dubai?
Yeah, the Dubai toilets.
Really?
Yeah, Google it.
Okay.
Right. I mean, there's a few other countries I could say, but no, I like to learn about places. I like to read books. About, I like about those places, or find out who the best authors from those places were and read their books, and I like to dive in when I go to a place.
I've noticed that. Are you still as in love with stand-up comedy as you've been?
I am. I mean, I think the only tough times is when you're going through heartbreaks in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my dad and my sister died, there was, 2 years after that, I wasn't writing material, but I had enough old material that was strong that I could just keep performing and leaning on that. But, and like I was saying, my wife at the time helped rehabilitate me through that heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you're going through that's the only time it's ever been difficult for me. It was when my heart is broken.
How did you find the writing process after those two passings of family? Because I had, the day before my mom passed, I was in the studio writing a song that had a completely different lyrical idea that I was working on. Basically just could be like a UFC bro down fight song, basically just bro metal is all it was.
Mm-hmm.
And after my mom passed, I didn't write anything for a good year probably. And then lyrics started falling from the ether, and I turned that song into a song called Mom's Song. So it's like this heavy song about the influence that my mom had on my life and celebrating her. So that was kind of my getting back into writing. How did you get back into writing after those experiences?
It took a while, man.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
But
you did. You got back up.
Eventually, yeah. But it did feel good to put my brain on a shelf.
Yeah.
After all that, and be able to perform and go on stage and think, oh, okay, this is, making people laugh is what I do, and performing on stage.
Now, as a reader, are you familiar with Neil Peart's book that he wrote after his wife and daughter passed away? It is a beautiful book. I highly recommend it.
Neil who?
Neil Peart from
Neil Peart, the drummer
Rush.
for
Rush?
Yeah,
for Rush.
He lost his daughter, I believe, in a drunk driving accident.
No way.
And then his wife, she was already going through cancer. She passed away shortly thereafter, and he was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
And he got on his motorcycle.
Yep.
Just rode all over the place and wrote a book. It is beautiful.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
just
great.
the only thing that made him happy was just being on the road on a motorcycle,
Yeah.
just aimlessly driving around North America.
Yeah. And then Rush, after that, they would schedule dates that he could ride from one
Cool.
city to the other on his
Yeah.
motorcycle
Wow.
because it became such an important part
That's cool.
of his healing. It's a wonderful book.
I heard Geddy Lee flies. He gets 2 first-class seats, one for himself and one for his bass.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
He got that Tom Sawyer money.
he's got the fuck your carbon imprint money.
Yeah.
But that Neil Peart book sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I got to look that up.
Yeah. Going through what you did with all your traveling and everything,
Yeah.
and a reader, highly recommended.
Yeah.
Do you notice that mutual admiration society that musicians have for comedians? Like, musicians are always like, I could never do what you do. Have you noticed that over the years?
I mean, it goes both ways. I mean,
Oh, for
I
sure.
love music. I like, Jesus Christ. You see a guy peeling off a fucking incredible guitar solo. I can never do that.
Yeah. Tom has one of the best concert stories ever. And if you don't want to tell the story, you don't have to, but my God, that Fat Boy Slim story about going to the concert and what happened at the hotel is truly one of the most magical stories. It's so outrageous that you go, there's no way it's not true. It's so specific.
What song was Fat Boy Slim?
Praise You was his big hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, man, he had a lot of great hits. I love Fat Boy. And especially, I moved to Amsterdam in 2000 and ecstasy in Europe from about 1999 to 2004 was really pure and really amazing. Yeah. So that was, it was of the time.
And you never stopped, you stopped drinking, right?
Yeah.
But didn't stop smoking. You just...
No, I've gone through periods, like I didn't smoke weed for a year, and then last summer I revisited it, and I'll take a puff once in a while.
Does it help you creatively?
I like to think so, but I don't think it does.
Yeah.
I think that's always been my excuse. It helps me look at the world differently, but yeah, no, I don't really think it does.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Tom had this great idea in his podcast where his love of stand-up comedy really came through and talking to his comedian friends. And at the end of the podcast, I believe, he would ask the question. He's like, I just always like to ask people, what was the best advice anyone ever gave you?
I would end my podcast when I would interview somebody. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder, from your point of view, what were some of the highlights of the responses you got from people as the best advice?
I don't know. I haven't... I can only because I thought you were going to ask me the question.
Well, and then I was going to ask you what was the best advice you
nothing stands out.
Nothing stands out in terms of advice that you got in your career?
No, that people said
as their
on
response.
my podcast.
Okay, but what was the best advice anyone ever gave you?
Well, really... my mother, she didn't really give it to me. It was just something she said, like 30 years ago. After my mother's life didn't begin until my parents got divorced. I've met some women that were really torn up about getting divorced, and I told them, my mom had 4 kids. Her life it was all about my dad.
Yeah.
Until once she got divorced, she finally started doing some things for herself. So it was like maybe 30, 35 years ago, my mom started taking tennis lessons.
Really?
And I asked her one day, I go, Mom, how's the tennis lessons going? She goes, it's okay, honey. I think the trick is to never get frazzled and to smack the shit out of the big ones. So I think that is I've used that as good life advice. Mm-hmm. Never get frazzled and smack the shit out of the big. When you get your opportunity, smack the shit out of it.
Absolutely.
My high school baseball coach, Coach Maybe, beautiful guy. A home run should be the accident of a line drive. You should never be trying to hit a home run. Should only be trying to get solid wood on the ball.
That's a solid piece of advice.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think that applies to life as well. But for stand-up comedy, when I was young, the best advice I was given was tell them the joke, show them the joke. A joke is 1,000 times funnier if you act it out a little bit, even if it's like a little move with your face. Even just the smallest, subtlest thing. If you tell them the joke, show them the joke. And then another guy who's dead now, he was the oldest hippie in America, Jimmy Wiggins. He was from Chicago. He was a beautiful guy. Worked with him a lot when I was a teenager, and I started out playing on the Southern circuits and shit. Beautiful guy. And you talked about me, the way I move on stage.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it comes from what this guy told me.
Really?
Shit in all 4 corners.
Yep.
And he told you that early on?
Yeah. There's nothing more boring than a comedian that just stands there with the mic in the stand and doesn't move.
Agreed.
When you're on stage, your feet should touch every part of the stage.
Wow.
So like if I'm like I don't play too many theaters and there's a big thing and I try and, I like to pace, I like to prowl like a panther.
Absolutely.
But normally when I'm on stage, if you look at me, my feet are touching almost every part of the stage while I'm on.
Yeah.
At one point.
I noticed that rock and roll, like on our stages, we're all over the place, and you have a very rock and roll stage presence to you, and like your swagger. You got like a thing that you're doing with the mic when you're up there. And it's like, it's like y'all don't know what's coming, but I do. Get ready.
It's funny. That's completely unconscious. People have pointed that out. Like, the way you like wiggle your mic, I don't never.
I remember saying that to Gilbert Gottfried. I always like to ask comedians, like, where did you find that voice? There's incredible stories about how Kinnison showed up one night at the Comedy Store after a horrible fight with his second wife, and he looks in the crowd, and there's a cute, young, adorable couple in love, and it just agitated him. And he just went, "Are you guys together? How long have you guys been together?" And then, "Are you in love? Yeah. Well, if you're in love, I want you to just remember this face." And then he does that notorious, like, because if you get married, that's going to be your face for the rest of your life. And then there's stories about Richard Pryor finding his voice after copying Bill Cosby for years. And I remember asking Gilbert Gottfried, "How did you come across that voice?" And he said, "I didn't even know I was doing." Like, other comedians were like, "Why do you yell?" And he's like, "Am I yelling?" He had no idea. So the idea that you don't even realize you're doing that with the microphone. I remember that first time I saw him at the Comedy Underground in Seattle, where I started out. We're thinking like, "God, this guy's like Jim Morrison." So it was.
I loved that room.
That Comedy Underground was so amazing, and there were women by themselves would get tickets to go see Tom Rhodes, just to sit and just watch him. And I remember thinking like, "Oh, you can do that in comedy? Like, women want to talk to you?" Like, I couldn't believe it.
I had moved to San Francisco with this beautiful French woman. It was the first big love story of my adult life, and we're still friends too, Natalie. And I was so in love with Natalie, and then I would go up to Seattle and play there, and man, the temptation. Oh my God. I remember this woman came to my hotel room, and she was like, "Let's get it on." And I had to like say, "I can't do it."
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Good for you for having the strength.
Yep.
So many guys knocking down 4s and 5s on the road because they can't.
But yeah, Seattle. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I definitely gave into those temptations, and that's why she's my best friend instead of my wife now.
So the one thing that's really interesting about Tom, you're the rare person that comedians watch and you go, "Where the fuck is that coming from?" I don't even see what it's derivative of. So who was it? Who was it that got you in? Who was it that, because I don't see any influence. It's such an original stamp that you've put on stand-up comedy.
Well, I mean, I love one-liners. Like when I was 14 to 16, Rodney Dangerfield was my god.
Wow.
And I had memorized all of his jokes. But I mean, other than, I mean, I like one-liners, but I don't do anything like his style. Bill Hicks was a god to me in the 90s, and I worked with him a few times and got to be friends with him. And we weren't great friends. I didn't have his phone number, but the guy, I had worked with him in Orlando when I was really young.
Hicks?
Yeah.
Okay.
And all the local comedians in Orlando, it was a thing like, back then, you do a show and then everyone would go eat after a show.
Yeah.
So the comedy club, Bonkers, was on Lee Road. And it was kind of like this famous thing in Orlando. It was called Skeeter's, and it was home of the Big Biscuit. Okay. And they were just these big buttermilk biscuits that had this gray gravy with like hunks of sausage in it.
Sausage.
It was like drunk food, but it was pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
But I remember like we all took Bill Hicks to Skeeter's to get some big biscuits, and we're all like asking him questions and stuff, and he couldn't have been nicer. The guy really loved comedians.
I love hearing
So when I moved to New York City and I was 20 and I wasn't good enough to get on at the places, and I remember going to Catch a Rising Star and hanging out at the front bar, and like all these snooty New York comedians wouldn't even give me the time of day.
Really?
And then Bill Hicks was the man in New York City then, and he had just started doing Letterman a bunch, and he walked in and he, "Oh, Tom," and he like walked past all these losers that couldn't say hello to me, and went straight to me, gave me a hug. "How's it going for you? Are you getting stage time? How long have you been living here?" And then when I moved to San Francisco, I got to see him and work with him there, and like. Absolute sweetheart. I mean, and I think he's definitely among the greatest comedians who ever lived. Yeah. And, he had swagger. Mm-hmm. My mother's very religious and always had religious television on. And she was a big fan of Jimmy Swaggart.
Really?
So, people remember Swaggart for the scandal and everything and his career falling apart, but he was a hell of a preacher. Mm. And if you look at Swaggert's style, I always felt that maybe Bill Hicks was influenced a little bit by Swagger, by the way he would crouch down and move on the stage and shit.
Yeah.
Very powerful performer. So I mean, I think maybe preachers also.
I mean, Sam Kinison famously was a preacher before he got into comedy.
Yeah. So I mean, like and then I was always trying to be political and edgy when I was younger. Now I don't want fucking nothing to do with anything politics. I want to make people laugh.
Yep.
And but I loved Hicks, and I think Hicks and preachers and I don't know.
Did faith play a big role in your life? Did you end up having a connection to religion?
I mean, I'm a believer. I don't put it in anybody's face. I don't care what anyone else believes. I'm not trying to convert anybody.
Go to church?
Only when I visit my mother.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You love your mom. I do remember you bringing up stories about your mom, and it sounds like you guys have a tremendous amount of respect and love for your mother.
Yeah.
And I love that about you. And we have to ask you best concerts you've ever seen.
So you sent me the
questions.
The questions. So I was thinking about it. There's so much to talk about with best concerts.
Yeah, of course.
And I've really been spoiled.
Really?
Yeah. But first of all, let me tell you, can I tell you my first 3 concerts?
Absolutely.
Yes. And then we'll get to that.
Yes, please.
So my first concert ever, 1981, was the Rolling Stones at the Tangerine Bowl in Orlando.
Holy shit.
And it was incredible.
Stones.
On the Still Life tour.
Oof.
Huge Stones fan. And then, I mean, like Mick Jagger and I just always thought, another big influence on me is James Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Love James. I actually opened for James Brown and I opened for Ray Charles.
No way.
2 of the greatest. I opened for James Brown in 1996 at the Canocti Harbor Resort. It's like 2 or 3 hours north of San Francisco. And then in 1998, when I moved back to New York City, I opened for Ray Charles at this jazz club called Tramps.
Did you interact with either of them when you opened for them?
No, well, I was so, and again, I started out on the Southern Circuit, been a James Brown fanatic my whole life. And, and then so like, there's that famous story about when, I think it was the Tammy show or the Stones did the,
oh yeah.
They did this TV show and they had to go on after James Brown. Mm-hmm. And up to that point, Mick Jagger had just stood still in front of the microphone. And then James Brown blows him away. And then for the first time, you see Mick starts moving a little bit.
Get out of here.
So he started moving because of James Brown. So you want to talk about influences shit. I mean, I think like, Bill Hicks, Preachers, James Brown, the Rolling Stones, all that shit is in there. But I was, and it's one of the few regrets I have that I could have met James Brown. And I chose not to because who he means to me was so important. I didn't want to ruin the image. I didn't want to go backstage and like, he's an old man in his underwear.
Right.
And let's say maybe I accidentally see through his pee hole and see some weird old man shriveled up dick. And then I could never appreciate his music again because I would always picture this weird old man shriveled up dick.
Or you could have seen just a hog on the dude like, I get it now.
Yeah,
that is
man,
the sex machine.
I wish I would have met him.
Yeah.
Because it's someone that's really got me down the highway and lifted me up so many times.
Is there anyone who falls in that category, by the way, that you met them and they let you down?
Oh, tons of them.
Really?
Yeah, lots of assholes. But I don't want to go into that.
Start
but
with
the story
too.
about when I opened for Ray Charles, I used to tell on stage that I don't know why they ask comedians to open up for, and I love Ray Charles as well. Who doesn't love Jesus Christ? Both of these men should be on Mount Rushmore,
absolutely,
in my opinion. Mm-hmm. American culture and American everything, man. So I don't know why they ask comedians to open up for shows like this because no one was there to see me.
Yeah. How do they introduce you? Like people are there to see Ray Charles. And
James we have Ray
Brown.
Charles coming. But before we bring out Ray Charles, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome comedian Tom Rhodes. Like a really simple thing like that. So I had to do 20 minutes, no one is there to see me. And I'm on stage and everyone is talking.
Oh, yeah.
No one is paying attention to me.
Mhm.
And about the 12-minute mark, I think to myself, this could not be worse.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Oh,
Oh
my.
no.
The last
12 minutes in, the whole audience starts chanting, Ray, Ray,
Oh!
Ray, Ray, Ray. And I'm standing there and I am fucked.
Yep.
And you're
I
still
didn't
doing
know
your
what
set.
to say. I didn't know what to do. It seemed like an eternity.
Oh.
Finally, I thought of something to say, and this is all true.
Oh no.
Finally, and everyone's chanting Ray, 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 and I just go, people, Ray is in the shower. I didn't just walk off the street. Mr. Charles knows I'm here. He asked me to do a couple minutes while he made himself pretty for you people.
Nice.
Oh my
And don't worry,
God.
I'm not going to do 1 minute past my allotted time because I want to see Ray Charles just as bad as you do.
Love it.
And then they clapped and they shut up and then they let me finish.
You're kidding.
And I walked off the side of the stage, I swear to God. And Ray Charles was standing on the side of the stage. And as I walked past Ray Charles, he goes, am I pretty enough to go on?
Oh, yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. What
So
a
that was my
great
interaction
story.
with Ray
Yep.
Charles.
Oh, that is
Clip it.
beautiful.
That's the
Yeah.
clip.
That's a clip.
Yeah, you gave us a clip right there, Tom. So the first three
Beat the fuck
concerts,
so it gets more more view.
first three concerts were Rolling Stones.
Okay, so Rolling Stones, and it's funny, man. I left that concert, and I remember thinking I wanted to do drugs and be cool like those guys.
Oh yeah,
And then I saw them just like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Again, and I left that concert thinking, oh my God, I want to be healthy and live a long time. Like those guys. So, concert number 2, Loverboy.
wow.
Hey man, and people made fun of me. I remember I wore the concert shirt to school.
Oh, yeah.
This cool surfer
The
guy.
red leather pants. On
Yeah.
No, I didn't have the red
Okay.
leather
Those
pants,
Eddie
man.
Murphy
But everybody's working for the weekend. Come on, man.
Yeah.
The kid is hot tonight. Whoa.
The red
Love
hot.
fucking Loverboy.
And it's on
I wore the
loose.
concert shirt to the school the next day, and some surfer kids walking past me goes, lover dick. And then like I felt bad. I realized I had been deceived. But no, fuck that. I stand by that. Loverboy, I hear them now, and I have the vinyl record.
Oh yeah.
And I was in a vintage store in Venice Beach, and they had it was a baseball
Jersey concert.
Loverboy
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
They were selling it for $250. I wish I
Whoa.
saved it. But anyway,
They were red hot,
Um,
man. Early
yeah.
80s.
but then my third concert in 1982 was The Who.
oh man.
I think this was their first farewell tour.
Yeah. That is
So, and
correct.
this was also at the Tangerine Bowl, which is now, it was the Citrus Bowl. Now I think it's Camping World Stadium.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But,
okay. I realize it's the same place.
and I loved The Who back then. I didn't, the Stones have always stayed with me, and the Who I've gone up, and I remember this girl I dated in high school, Marla Coleman. Her family was from Austin, Texas, and her dad was so cool, and he turned me on to the Sex Pistols, and he told me he gave me Nevermind the Bollocks because I was really into The Who, and he goes, "Those guys are cream puffs. Listen to this."
Nice.
Wow.
So imagine like your high school girlfriend's dad telling you the Who are. But so before that incident happened, I went to this Who concert, and oh my God, they opened with Eminence Front, and that
Oh,
little
wow.
that little ding, that little noise thing
Yeah,
just played for like 3 minutes before they came out. But I wanted to be down front, and I was like, like 15 years old or something. And the surge of the crowd, and like the bouncers in front of the barrier wall, it's Florida, it's hot, man.
Yeah.
So like if somebody was having a health issue, they'd pull them out over the wall.
Okay.
And so like the surge was coming, and all these people, and I honestly felt like people get crushed
Oh, yeah.
at
Yeah.
concerts and shit.
At a Who
I-
show in Cincinnati.
And since that's right,
Yep.
I felt like I think that might have been on my mind. I felt like my little 15-year-old rib cage was about to, because like all this like mass of people are all pushing towards the front. I'm like, and so I asked them to pull me out, and they pulled me out in the fucking moment they pulled me over the wall. The Who came out.
Oh.
Where'd they stick you at that point?
Well, I had to walk all the way to the back. I had to go all the way to I still stayed on the ground level, but it wasn't. I could have seen up their noses, where I was. Okay, so let's talk about greatest concert.
Greatest concert.
Because I have so many, but I would say, in like 1985, I saw Bruce Springsteen at the Orange Bowl. I've gone up and down on him through the years too, but at the time, I'll never forget. The Orange Bowl was like shaking because everyone was like dancing and jumping.
Was it one of his 4-hour shows?
This was on the Born in the USA tour, which was like the hugest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So, but for greatest concerts, that's not one of them. Among the greatest concerts I have ever seen, I saw Lou Reed at the South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas. Early 2000s.
Okay.
And it was in some kind of classic theater where like there was seats and then an aisle down the middle, right? That kind of like,
okay,
like
standard
high school auditoriums used to be like
right.
that. So Lou Reed comes out and I remember thinking, fuck this, man. I'm not staying in my seat. And I walked down the aisle. Like the moment he walks out, I just, walked straight to the front, up against the front of the stage. And then all these other people followed after me after that.
Nice.
So I was right in the front and got to see Lou Reed. That was one of them.
What year was that? The Lou Reed in Austin?
Early 2000s.
Nice. Okay.
In 1995, when I did that Viva Vietnam special for Comedy Central, I was playing at Acme Comedy Club in Minneapolis. And Prince's keyboard player, Tommy, was a fan.
No shit.
And
the one that would wear the doctor outfit?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Great guy.
Okay.
I'm sorry I lost contact with him. I should look him up. Beautiful guy. And back then in the summer, Prince used to do these jam sessions at Paisley Park.
Oh, no.
So he invited me. It started at 3 a.m.
Oh.
And it went until like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Tom.
I saw Prince 4 times, but this was... where I paid a ticket and saw him at the Oakland Coliseum once, a few different places. But
this is the legendary parties that he would have where he would just like.
So, and I invited the other 2 comedians I was working with.
That was
one
nice
of them went with me and the other one didn't. And it was a guy from Minneapolis, John something.
Okay.
But when Prince died, that was the first guy that contacted me. I can't believe I didn't go with you. But it was amazing, man. And Prince was like, he walking around and like, and Tommy gave me a private tour of Paisley Park. So I don't think I could go there now. It's a museum. But he showed me like in the basement he had his little garage where he had his vehicles and the motorcycle from Purple Rain.
Purple motorcycles.
On the upstairs, there was like room full of sewing machines and these beautiful fabrics. He had his own fashion designers and people making his own clothes on premises. And then he would film his own videos there, and the recording studio was there. And it was his girlfriend Mai Tai's birthday. And he had that white kind of musical instrument looking guitar.
Yeah.
And he just wailed like Hendrix all night. There was only 50 people there.
No shit.
It was tiny little,
Man.
so that was amazing. I saw.
That's a bucket list kind of show.
Absolutely. Prince is like, I think he's the greatest musician of all time because he played bass as well as he played guitar, would get on the drums.
Yeah.
I just saw a recent video when I was going down a YouTube wormhole watching Prince play bass. I'm like, what am I even doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, another hugely influenced person by James Brown. I mean, like him dancing.
Oh,
yeah. Prince had it all.
Mm-hmm. Hell of a basketball player too.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. When Ashna and I we were going to Rome every year, and I don't know what year this was, maybe 2009, 2010. Ben Harper was giving a free concert in the Piazza di Popolo, the Plaza of the People.
Okay.
And that was pretty spectacular. Seeing Johnny Cash at the Fillmore.
Oh, no
1993.
way. Get the fuck
And that was cool too, man. Yeah, and because, so I moved to San Francisco in 1990, 1991.
One of the best comedy scenes in the country.
The Punchline Comedy Club, there was a sister one in Walnut Creek, but they were owned by the Bill Graham Corporation.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
They have since got swallowed up by Live Nation, but really this wonderful, and a lot of the great people from Bill Graham are working for Live Nation that I'm still friends with. The people that were like Jeff Wills from the comedy.
Oh yeah, Jeff Wills is
fucking one of my oldest best friends. Love him like a brother. Yeah. But through the connection of them, I had the greatest hookup for concerts. I saw Pearl Jam at the Warfield. I saw
I love that venue. Beautiful.
Lenny Kravitz open for Blind Melon at the Berkeley High School auditorium. And so much just incredible. I saw Pearl Jam open for Neil Young in Golden Gate Park. Just incredible shows. But Johnny Cash at the Fillmore. Oh yeah, man. And I remember that it was before the opening night because the Fillmore had been closed because of earthquake damage. I forget who their opening night was, but like the pre-opening night, they had the Smashing Pumpkins. And it was one of the coolest things, man. They didn't even have an opening act. The lights went dark.
Early days of Smashing Pumpkins. This is like, okay.
Yeah, this is, before this is Infinite Melancholy, whatever.
Yeah.
The early Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah. So the venue was black, and then you see Steve McQueen in the Mustang. And they showed that 12-minute chase scene from the movie Bullet, which is in the streets of San Francisco, and he's jumping hills and like just the tires screaming, and they had it cranked on the Marshall amps.
Okay.
So this scene, and it's fucking great, and then the scene ends with the bad guys going off a cliff and the car exploding, and then the Smashing Pumpkins walked in and rocked it.
Nice.
Incredible.
Great way.
So like, and I lived like a 20-minute walk from there. So I mean, I would like, whatever, if I had an off night, I had friends that worked in the venue too. So I was just always going to the Fillmore. But for Johnny Cash, man, that was incredible because, it wasn't just white male country music people. It was everyone. You had, lesbians and punk rockers and black people, Asians,
all coming to see Johnny.
Mexicans. Yeah. It was like it was such a beautiful mix of humanity that everyone loved Johnny Cash.
Any shows that you've seen recently, you feel like that an artist that does that today? I would think the Stones.
Yeah, but they're old now, man.
True.
And then it's like
true.
And as much as I love the Black Crowes too, if you go to a concert now, it's like the Rolling Stones. Like, wow, there's a lot of bald spots.
Yeah.
And with those guys, like, are they going to play the show
at this show? Who have I seen lately? Oh man, I can't even think of who of.
Well, before we wrap up, I'm so curious. Who is it in stand-up comedy that you'll watch today that you still love to watch and get a kick out of? Because I mean, obviously, you're still in love with comedy. Who is it that still does it for you? Like, if you got a spot at the store or somewhere in New York, and you see the lineup, and you're like, ooh, they're going to be on before.
I mean, I love everybody. But like, if I'm at the store, like Fahim Anwar is always great. Bill Burr, Mark Maron. There's so many great female comedians too. I love Anthony Jeselnik. I love Sarah Silverman. I'm trying to think of. I mean, I love watching everybody, and then even watching young comedians. Like, when you see people make mistakes, what not to do. Like, like I don't mind. I like going to open mic nights once in a while. I think you can learn a lot. Like, oh yeah, what not to talk about.
But sometimes even at an open mic, you'll see someone thread a needle in a way that you never thought to do it. You'll see something like a little flash of something at an open mic, and I'm remembering that I actually saw Tom. Tom showed up at some like dive bar comedy show, and he came in just to sit and just watch show, and I was like, Tom, ask Tom if he wants to go on stage. And I didn't know if that would be something that would bother him or not. And he was like, I just came to hang out, man. And I'm like, man, what do you?
Yeah, no, and I'll always do a set. I'm a whore for laughter, man.
Of course, of course. Well,
but I just like being around it. I like the brotherhood, the sisterhood, It's like an exclusive club of fighter pilots. Like, I guess it's kind of like my dad was with his Vietnam veteran helicopter pilot buddies, you know? It was just like an exclusive group of people that can do this dangerous, exhilarating thing.
Well, go check out Tom online and go see that special. Where can they find the
Around the World?
Around the World.
I mean, it's on Spotify or wherever you listen to music.
Anything you're going to find on Tom, you're going to see right away. It's original. It's creative. I have a
favorite. Go to my website, tomrhodes.net. I put out a self-produced special earlier this year. That's on there. I have my podcast, Tom Rhodes Smart Camp.
Yep. And always original, always creative. I have a favorite line of mine that he does. I have a lot of funny lines that like sometimes when I'll watch him, I'll go, oh, and I'm that annoying guy like, watch this. Watch this. But he's got this great line about being in England and how shitty the food is. You ever eat food in England? And I'm going to fuck this up, but man, the Germans should have dropped cookbooks on these fucking people. Like, oh, that is such a beautiful, historically accurate, like, oh, that is such a perfect line.
Yeah.
Go see Tom Rhodes if you don't already know about the beauty of Tom Rhodes. And tomrhodes.net. It's RHODES, tomrhodes.net. And Tom, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, brother. I love you so much, Craig. And
dude,
you know, thanks for having Chris. Wonderful to shoot the shit with you guys. And
thank you for always being nice to me. There's been a couple times I've turned it up a little too much. I said,
we didn't get to talk about that 98 Rock in Baltimore. You know,
please.
I loved those people.
Yeah.
And there was a time back then, and that was around the time when I met you. I was considering moving to Baltimore.
Really?
And like, if they were thinking about maybe me and someone else pairing up in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Drive.
At 98 Rock?
Yeah. And so like there was a moment, and that's how much I loved those people.
Nice.
Whoa.
At 98 Rock in Baltimore, that I actually, you know, I might have done it.
That's crazy because they ended up getting a comedian, Mary Ann Cirque from New York. She's now the co-host on the afternoon drive at 98 Rock. That is crazy. I remember telling Tom a story that I brought it to him years later because his reaction, it didn't even dawn on me how ridiculous the story was. And his reaction to it was, I remember saying, do you remember laughing at the story? He didn't remember the story, but I remember telling him, we started talking about drugs, and I said, I never got into mushrooms. I had one friend who, he did mushrooms, and he kind of freaked me out because he like left this party for like an hour. He was this big football player guy, and then he came back completely naked with a heart on and sat down on a couch, and people were like, what the fuck? And half the party didn't realize he had just eaten mushrooms, and that's what, you know, happened before this incident. Yeah. And he sits down and he goes, oh man, hey, we should have an orgy. And everyone just went, whoa. And everybody got up and left. And Tom analyzed that for like an hour. He was like, wait a minute. And for me, it was just like, I saw this moment and I was like, ooh, I don't want to do drugs because look at what happened. And Tom kept going, so this dude went out on a quest away from the party, and he found the answer.
The answer.
He spoke to God.
He was like,
and the answer was, you know what? We should have an orgy. Like Tom just kept breaking it down and breaking down. And I remember just thinking, I'll never be a real comedian because the way Tom is like just taking every meat off the bone of this story, and he kept analyzing, over analyzing. And I was like, wow, man. It was like, on the one hand, I felt so disappointed in myself that I wasn't coming up with anything besides, I'm not going to do mushrooms. Yeah. And Tom was taking it from every angle of what this guy's point of view was, of walking away, coming back
Your
with a boner.
friends failed him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. TomRhodes.net. Check him out online. And Tom, thank you. We definitely want you back again.
Love you, brother. Thank you very much.